The VSS Thunderchill drifted silently at the edge of the Arcturus system, its massive hull absorbing the light from the distant star. Captain Alina Reyes stood on the bridge, her weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of tactical displays. 20 years in Earth's United Space Force had carved permanent lines around her eyes, each one a testament to hard decisions made under fire. "Status report," she demanded, her voice carrying the calm authority that had earned her command of humanity's most advanced warship. Commander Jackson looked up from his station. "All systems nominal, Captain. We've completed our scan of the system. No sign of the research vessel." Reyes nodded, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. The Arcturus system should have been unremarkable. An average star with 8 planets, none particularly hospitable to human life. Yet the research vessel Galileo had disappeared here 3 weeks ago, while investigating unusual energy readings. The Thunderchild had been dispatched to find answers. "Unusual," Reyes murmured. The Galileo's last transmission mentioned substantial artificial structures in the system, yet we're detecting nothing. Science Officer Dr. Amara Singh pushed her glasses up her nose, frowning at her displays. "Captain, I'm detecting gravitational anomalies near the 4th planet. Something's distorting space-time, but it's not registering on our standard sensors." "Tactical analysis?" Reyes asked, turning to Lieutenant Y. The tactical officer's fingers danced across his console. "Unknown, Captain. Whatever it is, it's not in our database. But the energy output is significant. Take us closer, Helm. 1/4 thrust. Maintain defensive protocols." As the Thunderchild's engines hummed to life, pushing the warship deeper into the system, Reyes couldn't shake the feeling that they were being washed. Humanity had ventured into the stars expecting to find barren worlds or, at best, primitive life forms. No one had seriously considered the possibility of advanced alien civilizations despite centuries of speculation. That changed as they approached the 4th planet. The space around them shimmered, and suddenly the view screen was filled with ships, dozens of them, arranged in a perfect blockade formation. They were sleek, organic-looking vessels with no visible propulsion systems, their hulls gleaming with an iridescent material unknown to human science. "Contact," Wei shouted, his console erupting with alerts. Multiple vessels. They appeared out of nowhere, some kind of cloaking technology. "Shields up," Reyes ordered immediately. "Defensive posture only. Communications, broadcast on all frequencies. First contact protocol Alpha." The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency, the tension palpable as humanity faced its first confirmed encounter with an alien civilization. Same's voice broke the tense silence. "Captain, the Galileo. I'm detecting debris consistent with its composition near those vessels." Reyes' jaw tightened. If these aliens had destroyed an unarmed research vessel. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," reported Communications Officer Patel. I think it's translating our language in real time." The main screen flickered, revealing a humanoid figure with pale blue skin stretched tightly over an elongated skull. 4 yellow eyes blinked in unison as it regarded the human crew. "Trespassing vessel," the alien spoke, its mouth moving out of sync with the words. "You have entered Varn Imperium territory without authorization. Your previous scout has been neutralized. You will power down your weapons and prepare for boarding and assessment." Reyes stepped forward, keeping her expression neutral. "This is Captain Alina Reyes of the VSS Thunderchild, representing Earth and the United Nations of Humanity. We were unaware of any territorial claim to this system. We came searching for our missing research vessel, which was unarmed and posed no threat." The alien's upper eyes narrowed. "Ignorance of imperial law is no excuse. Your species is unknown to us, which makes you a potential threat. The scout vessel refused compliance and was dealt with accordingly. You appear to be a military vessel, which confirms our suspicions of hostile intent. The Galileo was a scientific vessel," Reyes countered, her voice hardening. "If you destroyed it, You committed an act of war against humanity without provocation. The alien skin darkened slightly. War. You speak of war to the Varn Imperium. We who have subjugated 300 stellar nations. Your arrogance is noted, human. You have one planetary rotation to surrender or be destroyed. The transmission cut abruptly, leaving the bridge in silence. Commander Jackson moved to stand beside Reyes. Orders, Captain. Reyes studied the alien fleet. The Thunderchild was humanity's most advanced warship, equipped with technology that had seemed cutting-edge on Earth. But facing an empire that claimed dominion over hundreds of star systems, how would they measure up? They expect us to retreat or surrender, she said quietly. They've shown their hand too early. A truly superior force wouldn't need to threaten. What are you thinking, Captain? Singh asked. I'm thinking it's time to show them why humans don't respond well to threats. Tactical. Analyze their formation. Find me weaknesses. Engineering. I want a full diagnostic on our phase shift drive. We might need some creative maneuvering. As her crew set to work, Rice contemplated the gravity of the situation. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization had ended in the destruction of an innocent research vessel. Now they faced an ultimatum from an empire that viewed them as insignificant interlopers. They believe we'll act like prey, she murmured. They don't understand what they've awakened. Throughout the next hours, the Thunderchild maintained its position, seemingly passive as it faced the Varn blockade. But inside, the ship hummed with activity. Engineers modified systems, tactical officers ran simulation after simulation, and Reyes consolidated a bold plan. Captain, Wei called out, I've identified a pattern in their shield modulation. There's a 3-second vulnerability after they fire their main weapons. Singh added, and I've analyzed their communication frequencies. They're using quantum entanglement, but there's significant chatter. They're coordinating closely, perhaps too closely. Reyes nodded, the elements of her plan falling into place. Their centralized command structure is a weakness. They expect us to act as a singular unit, just as they do. They don't know humans yet. Commander Jackson raised an eyebrow. You're not planning to surrender, then? Humanity doesn't bow to bullies, Commander. Rice turned to address the entire bridge. The Varn have made a critical error. They've underestimated us because we're unknown to them. They destroyed the Galileo to send a message. Now we'll send one of our own. As the deadline approached, Reyes ordered the deployment of the Thunderchild's complement of autonomous combat drones, a technology the ship's designers had included as a last-ditch defensive measure. But Reyes had another purpose in mind. Program the drones with targeting parameters Alpha 6, she ordered, and prepare the phase shift drive for a tactical jump. The phase shift drive was humanity's crowning achievement, a propulsion system that briefly shifted the vessel partially out of normal spacetime, allowing it to skip across vast distances. It had never been tested in combat. The Varn deadline is approaching, Captain, Patel announced. Hail them, Reyes ordered. The blue-skinned alien commander appeared on screen once more. Have you come to your senses, human? We have, Reyes replied evenly, and we've decided to introduce ourselves properly. She cut the transmission with a gesture and turned to her tactical officer. Launch drones. Execute phase shift in 5, 4, 3. The autonomous drones streaked away from the Thunderchild, appearing to head straight for the center of the Varn formation, a suicide run that drew the aliens' attention and fire. But these were merely decoys. 2, 1. Execute. The Thunderchild vanished in a blur of distorted space, its phase shift drive tearing a temporary hole in reality. When it reappeared, it was behind the Varn formation, in their vulnerable blind spot. All weapons, target their command vessel, Reyes ordered. Fire. The Thunderchild's rail guns accelerated projectiles to a significant fraction of light speed, while its energy weapons targeted the now exposed weaknesses in the Varn shields. The aliens had expected surrender or a frontal assault, not a technologically inferior species performing what seemed like impossible maneuvers. The Varn command ship shields flickered and failed under the precision barrage. With their centralized command structure compromised, the rest of the fleet fell into disarray. Some ships turned to engage the Thunderchild, but their coordinated defense had been shattered. Phase shift drive recharge, reported engineering. Execute secondary jump, Rise commanded. Again, the Thunderchild vanished, reappearing at a different vector. The confused Varn vessels fired at its previous location, hitting only empty space. Their formation is breaking, Captain, Wei reported, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. They didn't expect us to be able to move like this. The drones are continuing to disrupt their sensor readings, Singh added. They can't get a clear lock on us. For 20 minutes, the battle continued in this manner, the Thunderchild appearing, striking with precision, and vanishing before the Varn could mount an effective counterattack. It wasn't about destroying the alien fleet. It was about sending a message. Finally, Rise ordered a halt. The Thunderchild reappeared at a safe distance from the now scattered Varn fleet. Hail what's left of their command structure, she ordered. A different Varn appeared on screen, this one's skin much darker with agitation. What manner of deception is this? It demanded. Your technology should not be capable of such maneuvers. Perhaps you shouldn't make assumptions about species you've never encountered, Rise replied calmly. We came in peace. You responded with destruction and threats. Now you understand that humans are not to be trifled with. We will withdraw from this system as a gesture of good faith, but know this. If the Varn Imperium threatens or attacks humans again, what you experienced today was merely a demonstration. She cut the transmission and turned to her navigator. Set course for Earth. Maximum speed. We have a report to make. As the Thunderchild left the Arcturus system, the crew's initial elation faded into a more somber mood. They had survived and even prevailed in humanity's first interstellar conflict, but at what cost? The Galileo and her crew were gone, and Earth now faced the reality of a hostile alien empire. Do you think they'll come for Earth? Jackson asked quietly. Rise watched the stars streak by on the view screen. Perhaps, but they'll come with respect next time, not arrogance, and they'll find humanity ready. What none of them realized as they departed was that other eyes had been watching the encounter, eyes belonging to species who had suffered under Varn dominion for generations, species who now looked to the stars with something they had long forgotten: hope. 3 months after the Arcturus incident, the VSS Thunderchild patrolled the outer reaches of the Sol system. Earth's governments had responded to Captain Ray's report with a massive military buildup, expecting Varn retaliation at any moment. Every available resource was being channeled into defense technology and the construction of additional warships based on the Thunderchild's design. Ray stood in her ready room, studying the tactical projections for the 5th time that day. If the Varn returned with a proper battle fleet, even humanity's ingenuity might not be enough to save them. Captain, Commander Jackson's voice came through the intercom. We're detecting an unusual energy signature approaching the system. It doesn't match Varn configurations. On my way, Rise replied, striding quickly to the bridge. The main view screen showed a single vessel approaching, smaller than the Thunderchild, with a crystalline structure that seemed to flow and reshape itself continuously. It's broadcasting on all frequencies, Paddle reported. They're requesting communication specifically with the human vessel that challenged the Varn. Rays exchanged glances with Jackson. Could be a trap. Could be an opportunity, he countered. Open a channel, but maintain defensive posture. The screen flickered to life, revealing a being unlike the Varn. This alien resembled a collection of translucent tendrils surrounding a central mass of pulsating light. When it spoke, its body fluctuated in harmony with its words. Captain of the human vessel, I am Linaire of the Myriad Confluence. News of your encounter with the Varn has spread through the neighboring sectors. I come representing those who wish to know more about your species. Ray straightened her uniform. I am Captain Alina Reyes of the VSS Thunderchild. Your arrival is unexpected. We have limited experience with non-Earth life forms, and our first contact was less than ideal. The alien's central light pulsed with what might have been amusement. The Varn tend to have that effect. For 1,000 cycles, they have expanded their imperium, subjugating or destroying any who resist. Your successful defiance has created quite a stir. We were defending ourselves, Rice clarified. We had no intention of becoming involved in galactic politics. Intention rarely determines outcome, Captain Rice. Whether you wished it or not, humanity has become a factor in the equation. The Varn Imperium's authority rests on the perception of invincibility. You damaged that perception. Science Officer Singh stepped forward. You mentioned those who wish to know more. Who exactly do you represent? Linnair's tendrils shifted in a complex pattern. The Myriad Confluence is an alliance of 17 species who have thus far avoided Varn domination through careful diplomacy and strategic concessions. We exist in the shadow of the Imperium, neither fully free nor completely subjugated. There are others, those who actively resist, those who serve unwillingly, and those who have chosen isolation. And which category do you fall into? Rise asked. We have walked the line of appeasement for too long, Linnair replied. The Confluence leadership believes it is time for a change in strategy. Your confrontation with the Varn demonstrated vulnerabilities we had not observed before. Rice considered this carefully. Are you proposing some kind of alliance? I am proposing a conversation, Captain. One that cannot happen here, so close to your homeworld. If you are willing, I can guide your vessel to a secure location where representatives from other affected species await. Commander Jackson moved closer to Rice, lowering his voice. Command will never authorize this without extensive debate. By the time they reach a decision, this opportunity could be lost. Rice nodded slightly. Earth's fractious governments had spent weeks arguing over the implications of the Arcturus incident. A proposal to meet with multiple alien species would likely paralyze them with indecision. Linnair, I cannot commit to any alliance without consulting my government, she said carefully. However, I am authorized to gather information that might affect Earth's security. I accept your invitation for a conversation. The alien's light brightened noticeably. Excellent. Transmitting coordinates now. After the transmission ended, Jackson raised an eyebrow. That was a rather liberal interpretation of your authority, Captain. Rice smiled thinly. Sometimes it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission, Commander. Especially when the future of our species might hang in the balance. Set course for the coordinates, but maintain combat readiness. Let's not be naive twice. The coordinates led them to an asteroid field in a binary star system 30 light-years from Earth. The phase shift drive made the journey possible in days rather than decades, another advantage humanity held that even the Varn had seemed surprised by. As they navigated through the asteroid field, sensors detected artificial structures embedded within the larger rocks, a hidden outpost, cleverly disguised from casual observation. Receiving docking instructions, Patil announced. They're directing us to an enclosed hangar large enough for the Thunderchild. Proceed with caution, Reyes ordered. Maintain shields until we verify it's safe. Commander Jackson, assemble a security team to accompany me. Dr. Singh, you're with us as well. The hangar was a marvel of engineering, carved directly into a massive asteroid and reinforced with materials unknown to human science. As the away team disembarked, they were greeted by a diverse group of beings. Linnair pulsed at the front, accompanied by representatives from at least 6 distinctly different species. One resembled an insectoid with an exoskeleton that shimmered with circuitry patterns. Another appeared almost humanoid but with skin that rippled like liquid metal. A third floated above the ground, its gaseous form contained within what looked like an advanced environmental suit. Captain Reyes, Linnair greeted, "Welcome to Nexus Point. This facility has remained hidden from the Varn for 3 centuries. It serves as our primary coordination center for information gathering and strategic planning." Reyes nodded respectfully to each being. Thank you for the invitation. I'm eager to understand more about the situation we found ourselves in. The insectoid stepped forward, its mandibles clicking rhythmically. I am Krizan of the Yith Collective. For 7 generations, my people have paid tribute to the Varn while secretly developing technologies to one day challenge them. Your phase shift technology is of particular interest to us, as is your decentralized combat approach, added the metallic humanoid. I am Cell, representing the Ashtari Dominion. We were once a proud military power until the Varn decimated our fleets through superior coordination. Your tactics against their command structure were illuminating. Rise listened as each representative introduced themselves and their stake in opposing the Varn. Some, like the Yith, had maintained a facade of submission while building their strength. Others, like the gaseous Elover, had retreated to the fringes of known space after nearly being eradicated. You've all suffered under the Varn, Rise acknowledged. But I must be clear. Humanity has only just begun reaching for the stars. We have 1 advanced warship and a handful of colonies in our home system. We're hardly positioned to challenge an empire spanning hundreds of worlds. Linnair's light pulsed softly. Yet that single warship caused more disruption than our combined efforts over decades. The Varn's success relies on predictability and control. Your species appears to excel at unpredictability. The away team was escorted to a large chamber where a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy hovered, with Varn territory highlighted in red. It encompassed an alarming portion of the display. The Imperium has expanded unchecked for a millennium, explained Krizan. Their technological advancement hasn't been particularly rapid, but their social structure is perfectly adapted for conquest. Each subjugated species is integrated into their hierarchy based on usefulness. What happened to the species that weren't useful? Singh asked. A somber silence fell over the aliens. The Varn practice what they call resource optimization, Cell finally answered. Worlds with intelligent life, but without valuable technology or genetic traits, are typically depopulated and repurposed for resource extraction. Jackson's expression hardened. Genocide. They wouldn't consider it such, Linnair countered. The Varn view other species as naturally subordinate. In their cosmology, the strong lead and the weak serve, or make way for those who can better utilize resources. Ray studied the galactic map. And where is Earth in relation to their territory? A small blue dot illuminated at the edge of the display, uncomfortably close to the red expanse. You are fortunate, said the Ilovar representative, its voice coming through a translation device. Your world lies along an expansion vector they had not prioritized. Had you been in the opposite direction, the Galileo would not have been your first encounter with them. The Varn encountered your research vessel by chance during a routine patrol, Krizan explained. Their destruction of it followed standard protocol for unknown contacts. They expected your military response to follow the patterns they've observed in other species, either immediate capitulation or a doomed frontal assault. Instead, you demonstrated technologies they believed impossible for a species at your development stage, added Cell. Our intelligence suggests the Varn High Command is divided on how to proceed with humanity. Rise processed this information, her tactical mind identifying both dangers and opportunities. What exactly are you proposing? An alliance against the Varn. We propose cooperation, Linnair corrected. Shared knowledge, coordinated efforts. The Varn have conquered through division, keeping subjugated species isolated from each other, preventing technological exchange. Together, we might stand a chance. And what would this cooperation entail? Jackson asked skeptically. To start, an exchange of technologies, Krizan said, mandibles twitching with excitement. Your phase shift drive combined with our stealth systems could revolutionize space combat. We also need your perspective, Cell added. The Varn have influenced our thinking for generations. We've been fighting them directly, within the parameters they established. You approached the conflict laterally, in ways they didn't anticipate. Singh looked to Reyes. Captain, this could be invaluable for Earth's defense. The technological exchange alone. Rais held up a hand. I understand the potential benefits, but I need to be certain of something first. She turned to face all the representatives. If I agree to this cooperation, what assurance do I have that humanity won't simply be trading one potential overlord for several? How do I know you won't use our technology against us once the Varn are dealt with? The question created a tense silence. Finally, Linaire spoke. A fair concern, Captain. Each species here has suffered under domination. We seek freedom, not to become that which we despise. But words alone cannot provide the assurance you require. The aliens' tendrils formed an intricate pattern. We propose a joint operation, a mission that will benefit all of us while allowing you to evaluate our intentions. The Varn maintained a strategic communications hub in the Denari system. If we could capture it intact, we would gain access to their command protocols and deployment schedules, a target of significant tactical value, but one no single species here could successfully assault. Krizan elaborated. Together, combining human unpredictability, Yith infiltration technologies, Ashteri countermeasures, and Elover sensor disruption, we might succeed where individual efforts would fail. Rais considered the proposal carefully. A joint operation would indeed allow her to assess their capabilities and intentions, while potentially securing valuable intelligence about the Varn. I'll need to consult with my crew and develop an operational plan before committing, she said finally. But I'm open to the possibility, provided humanity maintains independent command of our forces. Acceptable, Linaire agreed. It's light brightening. We have waiting a millennium for the opportunity to challenge the Varn. We can wait a few more cycles for proper planning. As discussions continued into the technical details of potential cooperation, Rais found herself in the unexpected position of representing not just the Thunderchild or Earth, but humanity as a whole on the galactic stage. They had ventured into space seeking knowledge and discovery. Instead, they had found conflict, oppression, and the chance to make a difference beyond anything they could have imagined. Later, alone with her senior officers aboard the Thunderchild, Rais voiced the question weighing on her mind. Are we making the right decision? Earth sent us to explore, not to forge military alliances with species we've just met against an empire we barely understand. Jackson leaned forward. With respect, Captain, that decision was made for us when the Varn destroyed the Galileo. We're already at war. They just haven't brought the full force of it to our doorstep yet. Singh nodded in agreement. These species have been fighting the Varn for generations. They have knowledge and technology we desperately need if Earth is to survive what's coming. Rais gazed out at the hidden asteroid base, where representatives of species from across the galaxy had gathered, united by their opposition to tyranny. Then let's give them something they've been missing, she said quietly. Let's give them hope. The Denari system gleamed like a jewel against the backdrop of space, its central star illuminating 3 gas giants with their dozens of moons. On the largest moon of the second planet, the Varn had constructed their communications hub, a sprawling complex of dishes, arrays, and processing centers that coordinated Imperial fleet movements across 3 sectors. In the command center of the VSS Thunderchild, Captain Rais studied the holographic representation of their target. The past 3 weeks had been a whirlwind of planning, training, and integration of alien technologies with human systems. The Thunderchild now carried enhancements that Earth's engineers would have considered impossible. Yith phase cloaking integrated with the human phase shift drive, Ashteri shield harmonics, and Elover sensor countermeasures. Final system check complete, reported Commander Jackson. All modifications are functioning within parameters. Allied vessels are in position and awaiting your signal. Surrounding the Thunderchild were 5 ships representing their new coalition. A Yith infiltration vessel, sleek and nearly invisible even to enhanced sensors. 2 Ashteri strike craft, their liquid metal hulls capable of reconfiguring based on tactical needs. A massive Elover carrier that served as their mobile headquarters, and Linaire's crystalline ship, which functioned as their communications hub. This is our moment of truth, Rais addressed the bridge crew. Weeks ago, we were alone in the universe. Now we stand with allies against a common threat. Everything depends on precise execution of the plan. We cannot fail. Dr. Singh looked up from her console. Captain, I'm detecting increased communications activity at the hub. It appears they're receiving a high-priority transmission from Varn Central Command. Reyes frowned. Is our operation compromised? Negative, Singh replied after analyzing the data. The transmission content relates to fleet movements in the Arcturus sector. They're still looking for us there. Then let's make this count. Signal the Allied vessels. Operation Lighthouse is a go. Across the Coalition fleet, crews of different species with different biologies, but a unified purpose began the carefully choreographed assault. The Yith vessel disappeared completely from sensors as it accelerated toward the moon, carrying a specialized infiltration team. The Ashtari ships broke formation, heading for predetermined positions where they would intercept any Varn patrols. Phase shift drive charged and ready, reported the Thunderchild's navigator. Coordinates locked for precision jump. Reyes took a deep breath. Execute. The Thunderchild vanished in a ripple of distorted spacetime, reappearing seconds later in high orbit above the Varn facility. But unlike their previous engagement with the Varn, this time they remained invisible, the Yith phase cloaking technology masking their arrival completely. Phase cloak holding. Way confirmed from tactical. Varn sensors show no indication they've detected us. Deploy the infiltration package, Reyes ordered. From the Thunderchild's launch bay, a swarm of modified drones descended toward the facility. Each carried a combination of human AI systems and Ailover disruption technology, designed to systematically blind the Varn security systems without alerting them to the intrusion. Drones have reached the primary sensor array, Singh reported, monitoring their progress. Initiating soft override. Successful. We're receiving their security feed now. The main view screen shifted to show the interior of the Varn facility. Blue-skinned operators moved with military precision between workstations, oblivious to the fact that their systems were being subtly compromised. The Yith team has breached the outer perimeter, came Krizan's voice through the communication system, proceeding to the central data core. For 15 tense minutes, the operation continued without detection. The Yith infiltrators, with their natural camouflage abilities enhanced by technology, moved through the facility like ghosts. The drones systematically expanded their control of the Varn systems. Then the first complication arose. Captain, we have a problem, Singh announced urgently. A Varn destroyer just entered the system. It wasn't on any of the patrol schedules we intercepted. Has it detected us? Reyes asked, maintaining her calm demeanor despite the surge of adrenaline. Negative, but it's on a direct course for the facility. Standard docking procedure, from what we can tell. Jackson moved to the tactical station. If they dock, they'll inevitably discover the infiltration team. Reyes quickly assessed their options. We need a distraction, something to draw that destroyer away without raising a general alarm. She opened a channel to the Coalition fleet. Lenar, can your vessel generate a false signal that would appear to be a priority distress call from another Varn outpost? Possible, came the alien's response, but it would require broadcasting on actual Varn frequencies. They would eventually trace it back to us. Not if you're constantly moving, Reyes countered. Use a modified version of our phase shift technology to broadcast, then jump to a new position immediately. Ingenious, Krizan interjected. The signal would appear to come from multiple locations simultaneously. The Varn communications protocols would flag it as a priority regardless of the confusion. Lenar's ship broke from its holding position, maneuvering to execute the plan. Minutes later, the Varn destroyer abruptly changed course, accelerating away from the facility toward a distant point in the system. It worked, Singh confirmed. They're responding to what they believe is a priority distress call. Reyes allowed herself a small smile. Maintain phase cloak. Krizan, what's your team's status? We've reached the data core, the Yith leader responded. Beginning extraction now. Estimated time to completion. 12 minutes. Those 12 minutes stretched like hours as the coalition forces maintained their precarious position. The Varn destroyer continued its wild goose chase, but it wouldn't be long before they realized they'd been deceived. Download complete, Krizan finally announced. We have everything. Command codes, fleet deployments, security protocols. Withdrawing now. All vessels, prepare for Phase 2, Rise ordered. This was the most dangerous part of their plan. Simply stealing the data would alert the Varn to their security breach, potentially leading them to change all their codes and protocols. Instead, the Coalition had a more permanent solution in mind. Yith team is clear of the facility, Singh reported. All infiltration drones have been reprogrammed for final sequence. Execute Phase 2, Rise commanded. Throughout the Varn facility, the infiltration drones simultaneously activated their secondary programming. Rather than attempting to destroy the communications hub, which would immediately trigger a massive Varn response, they began something far more subtle, a comprehensive rewrite of the facility's core protocols. Using algorithms developed jointly by human AI specialists and Ashtari code writers, the drones implanted persistent vulnerabilities, backdoors, and listening routines throughout the Varn communications network. To the Varn, everything would appear normal, but the Coalition would now have eyes and ears deep within their command structure. Protocol implantation at 60%, Singh announced, monitoring the progress. 70%, 80%. Captain, Wei interrupted urgently. The Varn destroyer has determined the distress call was false. They're returning to the facility and broadcasting a security alert. How long until they're in weapons range? Rise asked. 7 minutes, but once they start broadcasting, other Varn vessels could respond within hours. Krizan, what's your extraction status? Team is aboard. We're ready for departure. Rise made a rapid calculation. All vessels, prepare for immediate withdrawal. Singh, how much longer for the protocol implantation? 3 minutes to complete, Captain. It would be cutting it close, too close. If they were discovered now, the entire operation would be compromised, and the Coalition exposed before it had properly begun. We need to buy more time, Rice decided. Tactical, prepare a modified drone package. Program it with intermittent sensor echoes, something that will confuse their targeting systems without confirming a hostile presence. As Wai quickly implemented her orders, Rice opened a channel to Lenar. Can your crystalline structure absorb and refract foreign scanning beams? Yes, but not indefinitely. It would be painful. I'm not asking for indefinite, just long enough to complete our mission. Lenar's ship moved into position, its crystalline structure beginning to pulse with energy as